Hey guys, Mike B. Rolling here. It's been a minute since I did a video. I've been sitting home. There hasn't been hardly any loads, man. Seem to be out here getting 1 or 2, maybe 2 days a week worth of work. Come out, bang out a load, and do something else. Then everything just kind of, seems like by Tuesday or Wednesday, the loads are just, covered and done for the week. So I haven't been able to get a full week in quite a while. And I just wanted to do a video talking about what the heck's going on out here. And until the Federal Reserve starts slowing these interest rates, man, nothing's going to change. They're strangling the hell out of this economy, and they're hurting everybody equally with these high interest rates. All these businesses out here, they're sitting on cash because they're expecting some big crash, which I got a feeling, it's already kind of in motion. We're already here, folks. But none of these businesses are wanting to release their cash and start new projects, and just people aren't ordering cars. People aren't, they're just, everybody's sitting on their money. They're broke. They can't afford anything. You tried to go buy a car recently. I have excellent credit, and they still dinged me for 7%, and that was last year. I called my bank a little while ago to ask them. A couple days ago. I asked them, I said, hey, I got a little college debt for one of my kids, and I'd like to, see if I can buy that debt out with your guys' interest rates and pay it off at a much cheaper rate. And freaking Sally Mae, the college debt was like 11.25%, which is, astronomically high. And my bank said, they're lower than us right now. We're at 12%. It's like, are you out of your freaking mind? For who the hell is borrowing money at 10 and 12, 13 with excellent credit at 12%? That means not so excellent credit people are getting what, 15, 16% interest rates? Jesus, this country is freaked. We're screwed. We're done. And the Federal Reserve, they keep putting on this stupid show of, our target interest rate of 2.0. Okay. The Federal Reserve has no interest in lowering the interest rates down. Their interest is in keeping the interest rates high. That's how they make money. The Federal Reserve is not part of the federal government. It is a privately owned bank. And the higher the interest rates, when they print money out of thin air, poof, magical unicorn dust, hey, there's money now. They loan that money to the federal government, our government, at interest, meaning for every dollar that they print, out of nothing. I mean, it is backed by nothing. As of June the 9th this year, it's not even the petrodollar anymore. Saudi Arabia did not sign the new contract that Henry Kissinger had signed back in the 70s about the petrodollar. That's what made the United States dollar the world's reserve currency. They did not sign that new contract as of June 9th. The petrodollar is no more. The dollar officially has nothing backing it except the faith and confidence in the United States government. I don't know about you, but I don't have too much faith and confidence in the United States government, especially right now. But so there's nothing back in the petrodollar. The Fed, it's in their best interest to keep the rates high because they make a dollar, they print it, they create it. Well, they don't print it really anymore. They just type it on a computer and poof, there's a dollar. They loan it to the government. The government agrees to pay them that dollar back plus, what is it, 5.25% interest right now? Well, that's where the federal debt comes in, the taxpayer debt. It's all fraud. It's a fraudulent system. It's going to crash. It's going to come down, hopefully sooner rather than later. But until it does, nothing's going to change. The economy's not going to bounce back. We're not going to just, start picking up, even if Donald Trump gets elected, until we get through and basically until we get rid of the Federal Reserve and the central banking system of the world, until that goes bye-bye, nothing in this world's going to change meaningfully. You might see a little upswing, ooh, Donald Trump, ooh, Republican. And don't get me wrong, I love Donald Trump. I am a Republican. The man's done good. But he ain't going to change nothing. He is not going to change a thing until the central banks and the Federal Reserves are gone. Wiped out, gone. Deleted. Gone. Nothing meaningful is going to change until that happens. But right now, all the best you can do out here in these days is hang on, keep your head above water, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not making a ton of money. I'm not making a bunch of extra money. I'm paying my bills. I'm not in any danger of missing a bill or anything like that. But I'm sure not seeing the kind of cash flow in my checking and savings accounts that I'm used to seeing. And one or two breakdowns, and it just kind of whittles away at your savings. And that makes you nervous. Because right now it's not a good time to put a lot of money in savings. So what's there is your emergency oh shit funds. When something goes, when the crap hits the whirly thing, that's when you go, oh crap, I'm sure and glad I got money in savings. But a couple of good repairs, a couple of good breakdowns can wipe that savings out. Then you're in trouble. But that's basically the way everybody out here that's making it, that's surviving, that's the way they're doing it. They're keeping their head above water, hauling whatever load they can get their hands on. Right now it's not a matter of, that load doesn't pay enough, I don't want it. Right now, for me, speaking for myself here, whatever load they have that creates revenue for the truck, I'm taking it. Because my options are bounce home and wait for a load that may never come. If it gets to be Tuesday and the loads are done, and I don't really have anything. Well, okay, I'll start heading towards the house. I'm about 90% sure at that point that I'm done for the week, because the latter part of the week for us anyway in the steel, here in the Midwest hauling steel, the latter part of the week is pretty much dead. And here's a little food for thought. July is when a lot of these auto manufacturers and what's the word I'm looking for? The manufacturing industry in general. July is usually when they do their shutdowns. They're retooling, their repairs. They'll shut down for a week. And all auto manufacturers and most factories do it. They shut off production and shut everything down for a week, and then go in and retool for the next year model, or repair the facility, get it back at that, like a maintenance week, call it that. But July historically has been the week that gets done. And here we are at the end of June, last week in June, and we've been slow for a long time coming into July. And July typically is the slowest month. So it's like right now, it's kind of a nail biter. What's July going to look like? We're barely hanging on as it is, and if we have a couple of weeks of shutdown in July, holy crap! Definitely going to be smacking the savings account hard just to keep our head above water at that point. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully we just kind of mosey on through July, kind of like we're doing now. It seems like in the last couple of years it's just been kind of slowing down a little bit, but not really coming back, just kind of plateauing out, and then slowing down a little bit more, plateauing out, and slowing. It seems like it's been in stages. Then little pent up demand, a week or two of good runs. Well, that just happens to be one or two customers has something going on that I feel, hey, things are getting better. Well, everything else really isn't getting better. Just we had a little pocket of busy. So yeah, when those pockets, any farmer will tell you, when the sun's shining, make hay. Just haul the loads. Don't turn them down. Now's not the time to be picky. Right now is not the time to be picky. Take any freaking load you can get that has revenue that keeps your truck going. Don't haul a load for 10 cents a mile profit. That's ridiculous. But as long as you can make a decent profit hauling that load, take it. As long as you're not going to go upside down. Don't be running these trucks down the road for a quarter of a mile profit. That's redonkulous. We've all got operating costs and everything, but as long as you can haul a load that makes sense for your business, it doesn't mean it's got to be $3 a mile or I ain't touching it. You may be hauling for $2.20 a mile, $2.30 a mile, but you can still make a little bit of money in that. Not a lot, but you can still make a little bit. But right now, it's keep your head above water, because you don't know at any time, man, they could crash this thing. And that's kind of what I look for to happen. Dude, man, that guy's got a good looking truck. Whew, that is sharp. Old truck too. Man, he's got her dolled up. Old T600. That's probably a 96, I don't know, 97, something like that. Man, sharp truck. But yeah, I look for him to crash this thing just any time. And when it happens, chances are it'll happen on the weekend. Or Friday after hours. That's usually when they typically have the nobody saw this coming event. Yeah, right. Nobody saw it coming. My ass. But I think that it's going to be a bond market debt crisis. It's not going to be a housing crisis like 2008, because we bypassed the numbers that triggered the '08 crash. We bypassed those numbers a long time ago. 4 or 5 months ago, we bypassed those numbers. What's coming is going to be in orders of magnitude larger than what happened in '08. '08 is going to be a walk in the park compared to what we're fixing to go through. I think the banks are going to start failing left and right. Maybe European banks failing first. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of looking around here, keeping my eye out. So if you wonder why I'm not looking at the cameras, there's a lot going on around me. But I think it's going to be European banks popping first. Then it's going to get contagious real fast, and 1 or 2 American banks might pop. And then you're going to see probably the credit market will seize up. And at that point right there, it's game over. They'll shut down the credit cards, debit cards, lock up the money. Nobody will be lending because nobody knows what's going on. You know, banks are popping, and government's seizing banks, and it's going to get real ugly real fast. But all of my listeners, if there's one thing that I could get through to you right now, is buy some extra food. If you live in the city, get some extra water. If you live out in the country like me, I've got a well. I'm not worried about storing water. But food, you better believe I've got a lot of food on hand. Dry, non-perishable food, along with, I just put it, well, I haven't got it yet, but here in another 3 days or 4 days, I got a half a cow going to the butcher. And by the 7-8 days after that, probably the first week of July, I'll be pumping about 300 and some pounds of beef in my freezer. But I live in the country. I live like it's Armageddon all the time anyway. I've got 3 deep freezes, and I've got all my pork and my lamb and my beef and everything. The chicken, it's all stockpiled up. But right now, I'm stockpiling a bunch of canned food, soups. Don't buy a bunch of stuff you don't normally eat. Buy the stuff that you normally eat. Just buy more of it. Put it on a shelf. And for those that are like preppers, whatever, which I consider myself a little bit of a prepper, I buy a bunch of brown beans and rice. Brown beans, there's a lot of protein. You can survive on nothing but brown beans for weeks and weeks and weeks. And they're cheap, 20-pound bags at Sam's Club, cheap. But you take those brown beans and you take some chicken or beef or whatever else and throw it with it, and hell, you got a good little stew, just food for thought. But number one, store a bunch of food, medical supplies. If you need drugs to live, you're diabetic, whatever, I would keep if you can get it, I'd keep 3 months extra, 3 to 6 months extra on hand, just to be safe. I've got plenty of bandages and antibiotic ointment, things like that. Thank God my wife and I were, very healthy people. We don't, my kids say, we don't have like prescriptions and stuff like that, but we have a bunch of other medical supplies because, man, when it goes, it could literally lock up everything for, hell, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a month, depending on if the global debt system crashes, it could be 2 or 3 months. I mean, this could get ugly. Number one, food. Number 2, cash. If you've got money sitting in the bank, when they did, in '08, when they crashed the system, they did what's called a bailout, which means the government just gave the banks a bunch of freaking money. And the bank said, pay it back, or make it look like you paid it back so we can say you paid it back. But, even though most of them didn't pay it back. But at this time, what they're doing is called bail-ins, which is where the bank basically shuts the doors, and all of your money and everybody else's money that's in that bank, they take it. They take that money to make themselves, to sustain themselves. They seize that money. And if you look up the law, you'll notice, if you look at your paperwork in your bank, as soon as you deposit money in the bank, that you become that's no longer your money. That is their money. You become a secured creditor. In other words, the money that you see in the bank, your digits that's in your accounts, that's not your money until you go and claim it and pull it back out of the bank. And if they do, if your bank, I bank at a small local bank here. Well, I say small, it's a little, in this small region here. I don't do multinational banking. Hell no, I wouldn't touch them. But if my bank locks up and has to do a bail-in, they can claim all the money that's in the accounts to make themselves able to keep their heads above water, and then they'll figure out the rest later. So I keep enough money in the bank to pay my bills for the next 30 days. Everything else comes home and goes in an envelope, because when the system does collapse, if you don't have cash, you ain't buying nothing. Credit cards, debit cards, not going to work. So make sure you got any of your extra cash that you don't need in the bank, get it the hell out of the bank and take it home. extra food, cash at home, ammunition, you know. Who knows just how bad it's going to get, you know. What's going to happen when the food runs out? Trucks aren't going to, you shut down the credit market, trucks are going to stop. If the trucks stop delivering groceries, the grocery store shelves in every city and every town in Indiana is going to be, or in the country, not just Indiana, but in the entire country, every grocery store shelf is going to be empty within 24 to 36 hours, tops, maybe 48 hours. As soon as the word catches on that everything's shut down and there's been a crisis or whatever, them grocery store shelves will be empty. You'll be able to buy nothing. And then the people will go there to buy, to empty the grocery store shelves out, and the grocery store is going to tell them, we can't accept credit or debit right now, cash only. Not many people carry cash. So what do you think is going to happen? It ain't going to take but a day or two, and the people that don't have cash but have money in the bank are going to get pissed, and then one or two people are going to start looting, and then watch what happens. Boom! The grocery store shelves will be empty by force. So you don't want to be in a position to have to go shopping when the shit hits the fan. You already want to have what you need put back and go home and pop some popcorn and watch the freaking show. But it'd be a good idea. I have plenty of protection at my house and plenty of rounds to keep that protection functional. But you know, I live out in the country. I don't think I'm going to see too much trouble until the cities run out of food. And all those thugs and hooligans in the cities, I'm just, you know, spitballing kind of a worst case scenario here, you know. Those thugs in the cities, when they run out of food, they're going to start, you know, going out into the suburban areas, and then they're going to start, you know, expanding. Where people in these larger towns that aren't quite cities, but they're bigger towns, you know, if you think the cops and the firefighters are going to be out there to defend you, hell no. They're going to be home defending their families, protecting their stuff. It'll be a total system breakdown. That would be, in that scenario, that would get real ugly real fast. I wouldn't want to.
16, Mike.
I would. Well, they're calling me on radio. Got to go and get loaded. I'm gonna cut this short. Just, you know, food for thought there, guys. We'll catch you later.